Okay, so in the next exercise, we need to write two functions that save data to files. So the first one is just saving a string to a file. The file is indicated by path, and content is what data we want to save. And the second one saves a list of strings to a file, and these should be separated by new lines. There's no example of how to call this function, so we'll just invent our own examples. So I'll just copy paste this input data, and then I'll go here and we'll open saving, and then we'll experiment a little. So we need to call it with content first. You can see that using the built-in hints, and the second should be the path. So we'll just write a string, and the path should be, let's do this one, call it example1, and for the list, it's called lst list list.txt. Let's call it example2, and then remember to give it a list like this. Okay, so I'll just insert a breakpoint. Let's print out content, so I have something to put the breakpoint at. I'll just print out the path, and then I can put in a breakpoint here, and then we can start solving the exercise in the debugger. So I'll start the debugger, stops here at the breakpoint, and then we need to open the file that we want to save data to, and we use the same syntax as we do before. We give it a path, still needs to be a relative path, nothing has changed there. And then we get to the first important change, and that is that we specify W for write. And we need to assign that to a file variable. I just call it F. We can do that using this special syntax, which is otherwise equivalent from what we saw when we read files. Then we can just use the write function and use that to save the content for this into this file. And that should actually do the trick here. Now we get to the one where we need to save a list to a file. So we can still open it before. And now we can iterate over the element in our list like this, and then we can read, if we call the function multiple times, the write function multiple times with each of these lines, so instead of element, let's call it line. So now we loop over all the lines in content, and then we save them to the file. So we can, maybe if we print them out, we can just confirm that this actually does what we intend. So I'll just remove this, and then we'll stop the break debugger and then call the file. So we can see that this loop, when we print out each line, we actually get each line that we wanted to save. If I go to the Explorer, that should have generated two files. Oops, here. Oh, it didn't add the new line characters. So notice that they don't have new lines, and that's actually my bad. It's because I forgot that I forgot that the write function don't add new lines. I thought it did. So we need to add the new lines ourselves. We can do that as using this syntax. But now it will actually work. Okay, so let's go to the tests and run them, and we can see that they work. Yeah. So that's one way of solving it. I guess another way of solving it would be that we concatenate all the lines together. So we could just basically just illustrate it. Another way of solving it would be that we use the concatenation method that we saw before in week think it was week 4, where we can use the join function to join a lot of elements together using whatever we have here as a delimiter. So in this case it would be a new line character, but it could be a comma. So the idea in this alternative way of solving the problem would be that we first generated the string we wanted to save and then had a single write command that just wrote the string in one go. Because of the way the tests are set up, I'm not actually sure that approach would work in this case, but it would otherwise be a completely valid approach. Okay, I hope that was instructive. So now we've seen how we can read from a file and write to a file, and that's actually all we need to do in these exercises.